Hi everyone. Welcome to the DetailMax YouTube channel. In today's episode, and first I'd like to apologize. It's been quite a period since I've posted a video, and it's just been a little hectic in my shop here, and so I do apologize for the length of space between. But hopefully that will come to an end, and I'll post a little more regularly. But I'm purposely keeping my camera sort of panning around in my shop here, and a client dropped off a wonderful car yesterday, and this is what I will be working on for the next week or so. And here it is. It is a beautiful 2017 Dodge Charger. The color of it, I believe, is called Green Go. And the client dropped it yesterday to get a full detail. So virtually every surface of this car, on the underside, the engine, the interior, will be cleaned, made spotless. I will be doing a paint correction to all the paint surfaces. There has been a bit of paint work done to it, and so I will inspect that, make sure that's good. And all the other panels that haven't been painted, of course, I'll do a full correction. And then I'll be applying a ceramic coating to the paint surfaces and also all of the rims. So I will be putting it on the lift, taking the rims off, cleaning them, and then of course applying a ceramic. The ceramic I'll be applying to this car will be from Kamikaze. I do love using their ceramic products, and that's what this car will be protected with. And so this will end my intro to this video, and hopefully you'll enjoy the rest of it. I will be going sort of my step-by-step of how I do this. I fortunately have my wife and possibly my son that'll give me a hand in videoing this. I apologize, I'm not a videographer. I'm not terribly good at it, but hopefully we'll make it interesting and a little bit fun to watch. And so, yeah. So here it is, guys. It's a wonderful car, and hopefully we'll make it look a little bit better. It's amazing. This car has so many people, commenting and asking about it. Just being parked here for a slight amount of time, everybody stopping and asking questions about it. So it's certainly a head turner. So anyways, hopefully you'll enjoy this video, and we'll just continue on, and I'll show you my process of detailing cars. All right, here we go. We are now into the narration part of this video. We'll be watching it like with the rest of you. And so in this case, I take the car and bring it in my workshop, and I like to park it on an angle, as this will give me a lot more space to be able to work on the car. Now, once I've got it parked where I like to have it, I will apply my wonderful plastic drop sheets onto the walls. And this allows the area to stay dry, so the equipment and the walls won't get all wet. But before I start washing it, I like to take the license plate covers and license plate holders off of the car and being able to clean behind those areas. Now, because I'm doing a wheels off ceramic on here, I will apply these fantastic valve covers caps here. And this tells me where this particular wheel belongs. So there's right front, right rear, left front, left rear. So after the ceramic is done on the wheels, I can put it back to the right spot on the car. Now, I'll take the pressure washer and give the car a thorough rinse to get any heavy buildup on the paint off the surface. And then now it's time to address the engine compartment. I will take a good quality all-purpose cleaner and spray the area down quite liberally, and then let it dwell. And then after a short period, I will take a variety of brushes and start scrubbing the surfaces in order to get the dirt off of these areas. Now the next thing will be to take the pressure washer and give it a thorough rinse. And so this is where a lot of the work is done, because the pressure washer will really, in conjunction with the APC, will take a lot of the dirt off. Also at this point, I like to do the door frames and the doors themselves. So I use a mild solution of APC, so I thin it out a bit more, and then I give it all a good scrubbing with my detail brush. And so after the area is all scrubbed off, I will take the pressure washer and start rinsing the areas down. As you can tell, the pressure washer is going to be used quite a bit in this section. And so all the door frames will be done and rinsed, and we can't forget to do the trunk area. So scrubbing all along the trunk lid and rinsing it off after. And of course, lest we forget, the gas cap area. Nothing drives me more bananas is to see a clean car when you open the gas cap cover and it looks like nobody had touched it. So a good scrubbing and cleaning with a detail brush and then rinsing it off. Often I'll do this a couple of times just to ensure that it's really nice and clean. And now my favorite part. This is when I get to use a good quality shampoo and make the car look like a giant marshmallow. This Griot's foam cannon really does do a great job in foaming. It does create a good consistent foam. In this case, I'll be using a soap, a little bit stronger soap in order to break out any grease, wax, or sealant that may be on the surface, and spray it on thoroughly. And I'll leave the soap on dwell on the car for a good period, and let it work at wax or anything that's on there. And now is a great time to take my Mosmatic pressure washer, my underbody cleaner here, to clean the underside of the car. It never ceases to amaze me how this thing works and how well it works. It really does remove a lot of unwanted material from the underside of the car. And now that that's done, I will take a bottle filled with some car wash soap and my detail brush, and I will do hard to get areas, whether it be mirrors, around edges, especially door handles. I lift them up and make sure to scrub underneath and clean as much as I can under there. And of course, emblems, lights. Again, anywhere where dirt can be trapped. This is why I like to use a detail brush and the soap to dislodge it. Now this is done, so now I'll give the car another thorough rinse. And all I'm taking off is the soap that I put on with the foam cannon, and of course all the areas that I did with the detail brush, and give it a good clean. Now after this process, I then fill up my buckets. So I'll have my 2-bucket system here, which is a wash and a rinse bucket, and I will be doing the contact wash on the car with the mitt. And so, again, the 2-bucket system, so you take your mitt, you wash a panel at a time, and then before you go back to the soap bucket, you take your mitt, you put it in the rinse water, and then reapply it into the wash bucket, and then wash another panel. And so, you carefully go along the whole exterior of the car here and give it all a good washing. And and after this stage is done, we will again take the pressure washer out here and give it a thorough rinse. And this will be the final rinse here. So it won't be getting wet anymore. We're rinsing away here. Sorry, I'm narrating this and watching along with you. And it's kind of nice to see all the work my wife did with videoing all my work. And now at this point, I will take my big boy blower and start blowing the engine compartment. I want to get any trapped water in any of the areas, and I want to blow that as dry as I possibly can. As you can tell, I got my ear protection there. And now I will start wiping the car. And although I could use the blower to dry the car, I prefer the method of using this drying rag here. And the reason it gets me to go over top every surface of the car, so I'm able to sort of inspect it as I'm drying it off, to look for any imperfections or anything that I need to address during this detail. And so now, after thoroughly drying the car with this towel, it does get quite heavy after a while because it will trap all the water in it. It is now time to address the interior of the car. So I'll take off any of the mats. In this case, we've got some WeatherTech mats that are actually in really bad condition, and we'll give those a really good scrubbing. Most times I have scrubbed these a couple of times, so I really want to ensure that I clean or get them as clean as I possibly can. So I'll give them a good scrub, and then rinse them off, and hopefully get the majority of the dirt, and make them look like they did new a number of years ago. Now after they're done rinsing, I apply this product, and this is a very matte finish. It's a non-slip product that really helps to bring the nice matte black finish back to the mat, and they'll look like new again. And as you can tell, they really do end up looking quite good. So now it's time to lift the car on my car jacks here, on my quick jacks. And so I will lift the car and then remove all the wheels off the car. You probably noticed in the initial wash process that I didn't wash the wheels. And the reason is because I knew I was going to be addressing them one by one off of the car. And this is where my handy dandy wheel stand here is so wonderful to work with. This makes life so much easier. I'm able to scrub inside the barrels, on both sides of the rims, and of course do both sides of the tires as well. And so it's nice to get everything spotless because these wheels will be getting a ceramic coating. And so I've got these all washed off and cleaned up, give them a good rinse. I don't think we filmed it, but I did do a iron remover and a tar remover on the rims. And then I will rinse them thoroughly and then let them dry. So at this point, it's time to inspect the wheel wells, because this is another area I like to address. I will spray with a good quality APC, let it dwell and work on the grime and the dirt, and then of course start scrubbing it with a variety of brushes, whether it be a detail brush, and I'll often use a wheel brush, and a variety of brushes just to be able to get into all the areas that I possibly can. But again, just like the engine area, this is where the pressure washer does a fabulous job of getting majority of the dirt off of the surface once the APC has worked. So now we inspect it, make sure it looks good and clean, which I think it does. And here we are. So now it's dry. I've painted the rotor slightly, and my wife was laughing here because in most new cars they have carpeting inside the wheel wells. So here I am. I take out the vacuum to start vacuuming such carpeting. Kind of a funny thing. But anyway, so now we start addressing the wheels. And although these wheels are in really good shape, I did do just a mild polish just to ensure that they're ready to do a ceramic. And in this scene here, what I'm doing is applying Geon Prep. And this is a isopropyl alcohol cleaner. And you give it a good wipe with this to ensure that there's no contaminants left on the surface. Because when you do a ceramic, you want to make sure that the wheels are super clean. And so now it's time to apply the ceramic. In this case, I'll be applying Kamikaze wheel stance. And I think this is a 3.0 version. And so I'll be applying it onto the microfiber applicator here, as these work really well for doing detailed rims and stuff. And I always start at the same point. So I will go to where the valve stem is, and I will start to apply the ceramic at that area. Now with this particular product, I usually I work in 1/3 areas. And so I'll apply the ceramic on 1/3 of the wheel. And then I will be doing the first wipe off with a low nap microfiber towel, and then follow up with a heavier nap microfiber towel, which unfortunately we didn't get on camera here. But after the wheels are done, I also like to do a ceramic on all of the calipers, which are nice and clean and touched up with some red paint to make them look even better. So now we ceramic all of that. And then after that's all done, we reapply the wheels back onto the car. And please don't forget, in this case here, I'm using my torque wrench, and to torque the wheels at the right, foot-pounds of pressure. And also in the engine compartment here, I've put some dressing, and now I'm just wiping off the excess. So as you can tell, this engine compartment has turned out just beautifully. And now, my favorite part of the job is cleaning the interior. I'm kind of being a bit sarcastic here. So I will start with doing the vacuuming of the car thoroughly everywhere inside. Make sure to get any dog hair or any popcorn or whatever was in the car. Sometimes we have to improvise and get into the trunk and get into weird positions in order to clean. And then now with a detail brush and an all-purpose cleaner, I will start doing the vinyl and the leather. Scrubbing it out really good. There are two tools I really like using on the inside of a car, and that is a steamer, because that works really well for getting dirt and trapped areas that are hard to get to, as well as compressed air. And so those two tools are really essential when doing the interior of a car. And the other, sorry, I forgot to mention, the other tool that's essential is the flashlight on my head here. It not only does that add a bit of warmth to my head, but it actually gives me a lot more visibility. And so here we make sure that everything is clean, the liner, the visors, and then of course if any shampooing needs to be done, we'll be addressing that and cleaning the the gas pedal, brake pedals, all those sorts of things. So now we're into the ending of the interior cleaning, and my other favorite job is doing windows. So windows can be very tricky, but if you use the two cloth system or the two rag system, it generally works out very, very well. And now we're into the paint correction stage. So I have these wonderful Geon wheel covers here that I apply to the wheels, because they're all ceramic and spotless. I would like to protect them from any dust that's going to occur from the compounding. And so now I'll be taping off any area. So very important to tape off any area that you do not want to touch with any of the pads. And so you got to take a bit of time and tape, around the trim. In this case here, we've got some carbon fiber stripes on the hood, roof, and trunk, and of course the sunroof. So anywhere that you do not want to touch with the buffer or want to protect, you have to tape it off carefully. And now we start with doing the compounding. So with my microfiber pads here and my Rupes polisher, I start working panels at a time. And so in this case, again, I'm using a 5-inch polisher, and slowly and carefully working sections at a time. In this case, we're doing a paint correction to this car, and so we want to achieve great results. And that's why I've got this in here. This is the mirror, and I taped half of it off just to show what we're doing with the compound here. And so on the right is the before, and on the left is the after. And as you can tell, there's a substantial difference here. We've really cleared up, the look of the paint. And if you look at the lights, it's amazing the difference. And still haven't polished this. And so this is just a compounding. So once the polishing is done, it's going to get even better. And here I'm using a 1-inch Rupes polisher to get into tight areas that you cannot get with a 5-inch. With all paint corrections, I will use 3 different polishers. I'll use the 1-inch, I will use a 3-inch, and a 5-inch, again, depending on the areas that I'm working on. In this particular case, here's the 3-inch buffer, and it's perfect for doing this small area between the stripes on the hood of this Charger. And so yeah, this is very important to use a variety of buffers in order to do the proper job. Now once the polish is done, dried, and applied, you take a good quality microfiber towel and wipe off the excess polish, or in this case here, I believe it's compound. Now, one important step is to always have an inspection light and to always carefully inspect all the work that you've done. So when I do it in an area, like in this particular case, where it's a 1 foot by 1 foot area, I always ensure that I've achieved as much clarity and defect removal that I can with my light. It's always very good idea to take the work light and to inspect it. So here on this door, you can see this side, or on the left, I haven't polished or haven't compounded it yet, but on the right side I have. And so I'm kind of flashing my light to show the difference between one and the other. And so here you can see the spider scratches and such that are on. And as I move over to the right side, you will see them disappear. And now the paint is nice and clear and as good as it was when it was brand new. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention, it's very important to air out your pads to ensure that when you're doing your correcting, that you get the best possible work from your pads. I'd like to mention on this car, I probably ended up using about 35 pads. Oh, and here I'm polishing the door frames. I really like to ensure that all the scratches are gone from virtually every surface of the paint of this car. So now the compounding and the polish is done, and it is time to remove the tape. So all the tape work that we methodically put on this car is now coming off, and we then do again, like we did with the wheels, we do an isopropyl alcohol wipe on the entire vehicle. In this case, I'm using a product by Geon. It's called Prep, and I love this stuff. And it works well, and it smells good too. Now, I also want to mention that when you're doing this stage is to use a lot of different microfiber towels. To do an entire car, I think I use probably 20 towels or so. You want to ensure that you keep replacing your towels so the accumulated dirt doesn't just get spread out. And now we're at the paint touch-up phase of the detail. And this one I like to take my little lettering quill here and carefully do any touch-up to the car that is required. Again, with my spotlight on my head, I carefully use my brush and you know, fix any paint defects. And now we're to the paint ceramic portion of it. And this is when I will be applying the ceramic onto the trunk lid. And this particular product I'm applying is meant to be applied in one particular way, and you overlap about 50%. And so you apply your ceramic coating in nice, easy lines like this. You don't want to put too much, but you don't want to put it very sparingly either. And then after you've done a section, which again, usually you know, 2x2 section, you let it flash, or in this case here, it's about 30 seconds to a minute or two, and then take your first microfiber towel and with very little pressure and small circular motion to tie or to remove the ceramic off the surface, or the excess. And then after you've done that with that towel, you take a little bit fluffier of a towel, if you will, and wipe off the additional extra. So this ensures that there are no high spots left with the ceramic coating. And of course, like I mentioned, you work one panel at a time. In this case here, I'll be doing the wing of the car. And then again, the same thing, you will be applying the ceramic and then take it off with a low nap microfiber towel, and then follow with a heavier nap microfiber towel. Now, it's also very important that when you do the ceramic coating, is that you take a inspection light and carefully inspect all the areas that you're working on. And so now that the paint is done, I will be taking again the ceramic, and I will start to do all the trim. This ceramic is actually designed for trim as well. And so on this nice satiny black trim, it won't change the sheen level, but it will give it a nice depth to it. So it makes it nice and well, no better way of saying this would make it look blacker, I guess. And so, you know, you place the ceramic on it, and again, just like the paint, you remove it with a low nap microfiber towel, and then follow with a heavier nap one. And again, like I mentioned earlier, it's very important when you remove the ceramic on the surface of the car that you carefully inspect it with a light to make sure you're not left with any high spots. Because if you're left with high spots, it's very hard to remove. So again, very cautiously, always ensure that you're inspecting the work that you are doing on the car. So here's just a final wipe of this door after I've applied the ceramic. So I throw this shot in here. And now it's time for the finishing touches of the car. And I like to apply a wheel dressing. This is a very low gloss. I don't like the glossy one, so I'll apply it with my detail brush. And then I will also put a coating on all of the glass area. So this is a glass sealant, a glass sealant that I'll apply to the windshield, the sunroof, and all the outer windows, including the mirrors. So again, you just put it in nice circular motions like this. I usually do a couple of coats, and this will make the windows repel water and make it a lot better in the rain. And so, sorry, I forgot about this one. This I love to do. This is it's a rubber dressing. It's designed for doing rubber trim on your doors or throughout your trunk, what have you. And so I always ensure that I put a good layer of this on all the rubbers of the vehicle. So on the doors, of course the bottom, all that weather stripping at the bottom of the door. This will just replenish the rubber and make it that it seals better, you know, when it contacts onto the car. And so now, after all this narrating, here is the end result. So I'm very proud to say that this car has turned out absolutely beautiful. It was a gorgeous car to start with. There was some paint work that was done, and so I had to do some slight correction work onto the painted panels. But 75% of the paint that had not been painted, you know, the correction process, really you could not tell the difference between one panel and the next. And so I guess not much to be said here. Hopefully you'll enjoy this walk around. Every time I look at this footage, I'm just so happy to see the you know, the shine that we've achieved with this car and the overall look. It really is outstanding what you can do to a car. You know, when you do a detail like this, it's like a you know, painting a canvas or doing a painting. It's not, you know, it's not every little thing that you do. It's the whole process. So it's a whole, you know, picture when it's done. You know, so it's, you know, cleaning inside the wheel wells, cleaning the wheels, cleaning the gas cap area, cleaning, you know, all of those individual jobs all come together and meld into this, you know, this outstanding portrait, if you will. And that's how I think about it when I do a detail on a car. And so when the client comes and picks up their car, they hopefully will be, you know, completely thrilled with the end result. Because really, I truly believe this car, you know, many years later, is likely in better condition and looks better than when it was, you know, purchased brand new from the dealer. In this case, many years previous. So here we are, everyone. Yeah, I think I'll stay a little bit quieter here. I'm just, again, enjoying these pictures too. So, and the ceramic that I placed on is just as outstanding on this color of car. And here we are. So now it's coming back outside after being in the garage for about a week. I think I put about 46 hours of labor onto this detail. And here is the end result. So well, again, I'll keep quiet here and have a look at this car. Sorry, that's me with the camera, and I'll have to say hello. So here we are, everyone. This is the Charger that is just has been completed. What a color. Car sounds really good too. So now I'll finish off this video with some thanks. One, of course, is to my wife. I cannot thank her enough for the work she did following me around. We have so much footage, and I had to try to condense a little over 40 hours into about a half an hour video. And here are some still shots. And again, there's this lovely car. So thanks again, everyone. I wish you all the very best and appreciate you taking the time to watch. Be safe.